Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Art Whisperer 88, and on your screen is my large format jelly plate, a 16-inch by 20-inch, and I deliberately left these leftovers of vermilion paint from the last printing because I wanted to incorporate that into background for my next print, and I will be following the same theme of circles and lines. So I'm going to start out with some thinner lines with my Sharpie pen. Just going to do some random curved lines. This adds some texture to the background because this is the first layer. And I'm keeping in mind that whatever I put down is going to come out reverse. Okay, that's it for the skinny lines. And then instead of using the fat marker like I usually do, I have some leftover Blickcrylic black here. And I thought I'd do some random circles. And the effect of a painted circle is very different from that of one made with magic marker. Okay, I'm trying to keep the composition asymmetrical as possible. I think it's more dynamic if it's not symmetrical. Okay. And then my next step is to air dry this so I can layer another color on top. So here's my fan. Usually it's off camera, but it's a handy desktop fan. And it does a good job. So I'll be right back. Okay, it's been a few minutes with the electric fan, and I think the acrylic has dried nicely. Now I'm going to apply a light color, and I'm hoping it will pick up all these leftover paint, the ghost image. This is called Arctic. This is by Lukas. It's kind of like a pale, very pale blue. Almost like the like a color you would paint your bedroom or living room. It's a very soothing color. And I tried my best to clean my brayers, but This paint is very stubborn and I didn't want to over scrub. It might add some interesting textures, so I'll see what happens. And again, my philosophy is it's better to add too little than too much. You can always add paint. It's harder to take the paint away, and it's also wasteful. So, and for these acrylic paints, especially the good ones, Lukas is a very good brand. A little goes a long way, as you can see. I'm applying a little bit of pressure to even out the coat of paint. Okay. Now this time I will introduce my favorite texture, which is bubble wrap. Okay, this is a small texture bubble wrap. To put some here. A little down here. And again, I'm gonna do my scribble. And I'm pressing really hard because I'm hoping I can pick up all the leftover paint from the last printing, plus the Sharpie lines, plus the acrylic paint. So it's a lot to pick up. So I'm going to leave this for about half an hour and I'll be right back. Okay, it's been about 20-25 minutes and I did take a peek on the corner and I think the transfer was very good. So let me see, and this is a little more of a close-up so you can see the detail. And I think it did a good job in picking up the leftover. It even picked up the subtle texture of the bubble wrap. Okay, pretty cool. Here's a wide shot. So again, I will air dry this because it's still slightly damp, and see what else I can do. So I'll take another break. Okay, I'm back from a short break. This is nice and dry. The nice thing about the paper, when it gets completely dry, it really flattens out. It doesn't have any kind of buckling or waviness. And I found some of these scraps from my scrap box, and I thought they would be a nice complement to this color scheme. This is a leftover of a stencil. I kind of cut it in half to make it more proportional. I didn't want it to be too heavy looking. And I thought that would make a nice and interesting counterpoint. And then this, I can have this here. And this will provide a spot of contrasting color up here. And the same thing with this down here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount them with my Mod Podge. We'll start with this long piece here. Now it's curling up at the moment, but once it soaks up the moisture from the glue, it will kind of lay flat. So it kind of forms like a letter S. Okay, and I think the dark blue is a good complement to this pale blue. The blue is not an easy color to find how should I say, complementary colors for blue. I would say blue is kind of a difficult color. Okay. Then this little sliver here. And I have to work quickly because when you have little slivers of paper, they tend to curl up very quickly. Again, once the paper absorbs the water content from the glue, it will soften and flatten out. And here's the last piece. Go up here. Just squeezing out the bubbles just to make sure it's flat. Okay. Now I originally intended to put a second layer of color, but I kind of like the delicate texture and subtle variations of color here. I didn't want to cover that up, and I think it works the way it is. This is an example of the piece telling me that I should stop and leave well enough alone. So anyways, here's a close-up, and I will show you the little textures. I think they're pretty cool. I know that bubble wrap is fairly common, but it does create very pretty and delicate textures. And anybody can find it. It just lays around the house. Sometimes whether you like it or not, it's there. So anyway, I hope you liked this short video of my pale blue composition with circles and lines. And thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Please give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and I hope to see you next time.